Hey everyone, I'm Dark Phones Dave. I'm glad you could join me and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. So today, our goal is to reach the moon. Landing on the moon may or may not happen, but we're gonna reach the moon. And you may have noticed that we're not on the vehicle assembly building where you build rockets when the spaceplane hangar. That's because I want to take a spaceplane to the moon. Which is kind of a jump up from rockets, considering that they're a little bit more complicated. But, you know what? Whatever. We're doing that. Okay. That could work. It's like, yeah, that could work. That probably not. See, is there a long, oblong thingy? Tank. That's the word. That's the word, tank. And there it is. Let's close that, and that looks good. Like something just... I don't think a lander would fit in there, actually. And that's kind of what I was hoping. Just stick a lander in there. One would probably fit in there, but problem is that's really big, and I kinda want to keep this thing fairly small, ideally. I mean, potentially we could just land the plane itself on the moon. I mean, it wouldn't have any air to push against, but we could just use its rockets to achieve what it needs to. And I mean, we don't necessarily have to land on the moon either. That might be big enough, but I feel like a delta wing, but I'd like a bigger wing. Bigger wing than that one. That is smaller. These contain liquid fuel though. $300 liquid fuel. Which, you know, that might be a better option than carrying 800 in a fuselage. Let's see. And I mean, the whole idea behind a space plane is that it's supposed to be really efficient at getting, like, most of the way into orbit. Like, a rocket needs to go straight up and then turn over into orbit, and it's using rocket fuel the whole way. Which rockets are not very efficient. They're not terribly efficient most of the time. You get over into jet engines though. Jet engines tend to be very efficient. So that's why jets are, like, really the ideal for getting something up. Also that, and the jet can just kind of fly into orbit rather than go straight up and have to turn. So theoretically, a spaceplane would be much more efficient at getting into orbit. Theoretically. Did you connect? You just did it. Now do it again. Connect. There we go. And then from there, I could, right, aerodynamic. From there, I could connect a tail boom. I feel like this thing is gonna need more lift. So I wonder. Although I might leave the second pair empty. Just because it'll get up there and wait, I feel. It's already 25.5 tons. So from what I know with space planes, you want the center of lift to be like close to the center of mass. And like it's gonna back here, it's gonna kind of push the back end up slightly, but that's okay because the thrust is gonna be counteracting that. And so it's actually good the center of lift is behind the center of mass slightly. Because if it was in front, the thrust and the center of lift would be pushing the nose up. So that might be a little much. We may just have to use something like this, and then add control surfaces to it, which that'll work too. So let's see about those control surfaces. These would work, I think. And then we'll take that and actually take that there, and we have a rudder. And now we can take these and stick them on the forward wings because they don't have elevators. And I don't remember if you can put slats on these. That would definitely help with getting it off the ground, but I don't remember if that's a thing in Kerbal Space Program. I don't think it is. And then we'll just kind of pull these forward so they're like, yeah, why not? We'll have it kind of be like a double wing. No clue if this thing will work. I guess we could try testing it, but then we'll need engines and landing gear first. Okay, this seems to be the next step down from the Goliath. So, guess we're going with those then. So that's done. You might need more thrust, especially once we stick the rockets on, because we're gonna need. Actually, We might stick the rocket on the back here instead of the, like, tail boom. That might make more sense, actually. I mean, before we do that, we should probably check to see if this thing actually works as is. Oh, that's not gonna work. Why are you backwards? Why are you backwards? You're supposed to be forwards. There we go. Okay, let's see if this actually works. What should the name be? Okay, we're going with the Falcon. The Falcon. That makes sense. Slightly Star Wars pandering in there. But not overly obvious Star Wars pandering. Okay. Let's see. Okay, brakes on. I forget what the term brakes on are supposed to just press and hold to brake. I forget what that key is offhand, but do I really need it right now? Huh. Okay, it's slow to get going. That's something to note. It does seem to be fairly stable, though. Okay, it does take off. That's good to know. What's landing gear button? G. Gear. That's good to know. Okay, and this thing doesn't really need to turn. I think... I don't think so, at least. I don't even know which direction we're heading. If we're heading north or south, then it'll probably need to turn, but as is, I mean, we could always, like, go for a polar orbit, and just go for a polar orbit on the moon. That'd probably still work, although it would probably require more precision to reach the moon. Also, this thing is losing thrust at a fairly constant rate, which means I'll probably need more engines. Yeah, how about we... Okay, first off, you whip around, and then why are you slightly off? Why are you doing that? That doesn't make sense. Okay. That works, I guess. Might be a good idea to have like a bi-coupler. Like that. Come on. There we go. And then we'll have two engines there instead of just one. I'm not sure what type of engine I want there. Because I mean, I do, like, I want nuclear engines for their efficiency, but I know they're not powerful enough to get something into orbit. These could work, but they do go through a lot of fuel. But I mean, they're also really powerful, but I feel like the fuel is going to be a problem. So, I mean, the swivel engines, they've proven themselves reliable. So maybe that should be what we go with. We'll have the landing gear, which is backwards again for some reason. We'll have it right there to like, it's not going to be touching the ground until like we start pulling back. But I mean, that's what really needs to be there for. To provide support when we pull back, to lift off, when we rotate. That's the proper aviation term, I believe. To rotate. I mean, I want to take the jet engines off for a second to check and see. Okay, so it's very important that the thrust of the rockets be right in line with the center of mass, and it looks like that's the case. I can't tell if it's a little bit off, but I mean, if it is a little bit off, the engines have gimbaling, which means they can angle. They can angle to like offset that if it is slightly off. So I don't foresee that being a huge problem. I mean, something I'm kind of concerned about as well, though, is if these two swivel engines on their own have enough power to actually take over when the jets don't function anymore. When we get high in the atmosphere and the jets just can't function anymore. But I mean, I guess the only way we're gonna find that out is through testing, so. Okay, let's see. Turn the brakes on first. And to build up power before we take the brakes off, so that it takes less of runway. Because we only have a limited amount of runway to do this. Oh, that pulled back way quicker than I expected. Okay, take the gear up, I guess. Yeah, see, this is where jet engines really work out well. Because they're, at this point, a rocket, in this amount of time, a rocket will have burned through, like, I don't know, what, 8 of this fuel? The jet engines haven't even reached, like, a 20th of it. We might actually have a lot of excess fuel when we get into orbit. Might be enough for actually using the jets on return, probably. Although we're starting to lose speed already, which isn't really a good sign, considering we're only at like 5,000 meters. But I mean, hopefully, if it remains steady with the reduction in speed, we should be able to keep going to like maybe 10,000. And I mean, once you get up to around, that's really up to 10,000 feet. That's the thickest floor of the atmosphere, and that's the problem. That's the place where rockets have the most trouble. So once the jet skids past that, the rockets can probably take over and work really well, assuming they have enough power. Still not sure about that. Also, this is another great thing about the space planes. Like I said, they can just fly into orbit. We're already creating nice kind of rounded out orbit, and we're only like 8,000 meters up. 9,000 meters up, but we're only this far up, and we're already getting a nice rounded orbit started. So, like I said, this is where space planes are really good. Okay, once we get to about 10,000, we'll probably turn the rockets on. I might leave the jets on for a little bit. I should probably put them all in action group. I might leave the jets on until we like get up to the next layer of the atmosphere, because at that point they're going to be pretty much useless. But anyway, let's start the rockets. Okay, I think I hear the jets going to cut out, so I might start, yeah, just shutting them all down. Yeah, and see, the rockets are burning through the fuel really quickly. Much more quickly than the jets did. And you know, with the space plane, we really just need to keep the power going. We don't need to have it at like max power, not yet at least. Although we may actually need more fuel than we actually have available. Even on spaceplanes, it takes a lot of rocket fuel to get into orbit. Rockets are just fuel guzzlers. They really are. And since we're now up to thinner part of the atmosphere, I think we can actually just get the thrust maxed out. I don't think we're gonna have enough fuel. Nope.